Happy Tuesday, everybody. Hope you're doing great. Just finished the Crazy Asian podcast here as I'm navigating through the Houston traffic and was talking about how people that, as employees, so in my podcast, right now I do it Mondays leadership, Tuesdays career progression, Wednesdays motivation, Thursdays social media, Fridays personal development. So today on a career progression, I thought of it more like career advice, right? Basically, people that have to constantly be told what to do and how to do it in an organization will probably find themselves being replaced by AI, some kind of computer, or a robot. And it's only a matter of time before you eventually get replaced. I was literally going into a McDonald's a few months ago, and I mean, I've been there since then, but nonetheless, a few months ago, and the employee, her job was to get people to use the kiosk. So she is literally showing people and encouraging people to no longer talk to a human being. She is encouraging people to replace her. So it's really interesting if you think about kind of that mindset, no matter what organization you are, no matter what industry, if you come in and you are waiting for a manager, a supervisor, the CEO, the business owner to tell you what to do, you are going to find yourself replaced quickly. I think about that from an administrative perspective and how there are virtual assistants in India, in the Philippines, that totally replaced that administrative assistant here in the office. Unless you need a director of first impressions, you need that kind of customer service feel of someone being in there. But a lot of organizations have replaced that front desk individual now with a bell, with a sign. We need to think about how we are in our careers and what we're doing. And if we don't have aspirations, don't have goals or visions or something that we want to accomplish, we need to rethink things. I recently started pulling out the 3x5 note cards, and I'm going to write down some of the goals that I want, and I'm going to carry with me, going to get them laminated, so that way I constantly keep them in front of me. And what I find for a lot of people is they're not willing to put the stake out there and say, this is what I want to accomplish. And so when it comes to some type of advice that I would say to anybody when it comes to their career is understand that people, we need to be making decisions for ourselves. That's why we hired you, right? So we want you to be able to think on your own. If you have specific talents, specific skills, voice them. Let us know. Be assertive. Doesn't mean to be a complete extrovert. Doesn't mean you to be the class clown or the company, mascot. But what we need to know is exactly what you want to be doing and how you want to do it. And then if you work at a good organization, they're going to give you the flexibility. It's like, we hired you to get the job done. Now get the job done. Instead, what happens is a lot of people, they say, hey, I want to be able to go at this thing, and then the company tells them, oh, but you should do it this way. We don't want you to do it that way. We want you to do it our way. And so doing it our way is probably the wrong thing, right? So if you have a leadership role or you have a manager that kind of thinks this old school mentality of, well, we hired you, we said you had a lot of skills and we wanted to bring you on, but we're going to tell you how to do it. You're with the wrong organization. They do not have strong leadership. The toughest thing in that capacity is that you need a leader that can create accountability, that's going to be checking in, that's going to be able to do things that haven't been done before. If you want results that have never been done, you must do things that have never been done. And that is a very tough thing for a lot of organizations, a lot of leaders to wrap their minds around, because what it means is that we're going to be failing. We're going to be doing something that's not going to lead to the results that we want. Kyle, what's up? Arnold Insurance, buddy. Haven't done this in a while where as I'm driving to work, I just kind of give my thoughts. And what we're talking about today is intrapreneurs. People, employees that think like we do, like a business owner, like an entrepreneur. And so if they don't think like that, then what's going to happen is they're going to eventually find themselves out on the wayside, not knowing what's really going on. And they'll probably be replaced by some kind of robot, some kind of AI, some kind of computer. Some machine is going to replace somebody that comes in every day and needs to be told what to do. I think about people that are in retail, right, that are stocking shelves. At some point, someone's going to figure out some mechanism to be able to load those shelves automatically and not need you there, right? I think about the infrared sensors that are inside the cement, their concrete, the cement floors at like an Amazon, and they have machines that help move a lot of the things around. Well, now imagine putting that into Costco's and to Sam's Club. All of a sudden, you just got rid of an entire workforce that their entire job is to bring stuff to the floor. Now, I will say that Costco does value the human experience, but you think about companies like an Amazon or a Sam's Club that are looking to minimize costs. That's maybe what they might do. And so that's really the thing about it is, I think for a lot of people, when they come into work, and I don't care at what level, whether you're an accountant, an engineer, even a physician, if you need to be told what to do, at some point, we need to get rid of your job, because if I need to tell you exactly what to do every single day, you're going to find yourselves going somewhere else. Get back to work, buddy. Keep doing it. Arnold Insurance, appreciate you coming in, chiming in, listening. Anybody that decides to listen to this at some point in the future or now, man, do I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules and your busy life to come hear me ramble. But love to know your thoughts. Put your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that more people need to think more entrepreneurial and not so much like an employee? Is that a struggle that you find in your organization and in your industry? I know it's a huge struggle. We encourage people to be entrepreneurial, but what we find is, even though they are entrepreneurial, or at least they say they are, they actually aren't. They actually want someone to tell them what to do. Now, I understand the value of having accountability, like an accountability coach, or like a partnership from a leadership perspective. I'd say for a lot of leaders, they need to be really comfortable with failing, and failing big, and having an organization that can allow you to fail big. Now, again, if we're at an organization where if we make a mistake budgetary wise, and now we're really putting the organization at a tough spot, then maybe that's not an organization we want to be with. But I think a lot of leaders that have the flexibility and the freedom to be able to go at some things that are a little bit more experimental, that's how you get the results that you've never had. You have to do things that you've never done. So as I'm looking at some of the strategies that are not working right now, I look at what we're doing and I'd say, I don't think that they're working. And someone might say, well, what if we were to execute it at 100%? I still don't think we're going to get the results that we want. And maybe that's a problem. Maybe that's because we expect that we're going to get certain results. We end up getting the results that we have. I don't know. There has to be a different way to approach a similar problem. That's really the struggle, is if the problem has always existed, or if the problem exists and the solution that we're using and implementing isn't getting the results that we want, then we need to be doing something different. And so as I'm looking at that in my industry, my organization, we're looking at creating things that we've never created before. We're looking at doing things that we haven't done before. And that gets me a little bit nervous, because I'm spending my time in things that I hope, right? I intellectually it should lead to the right results. The question is, can it lead there in a timely fashion? Because we do have quarterly results that we want to achieve. We do have annual goals that we want to achieve. And so that's really where we're left, is can we drive to those goals that we want in a timely fashion? Because I think every organization lives in some kind of timeline, some kind of project, and so at some point when we're kind of running at this thing, do we have a long enough runway? Reminds me of the great book Creativity Inc. Ed Cathill, and he's the founder, really the brain behind Pixar, and it was about 10 years before Pixar actually came out with Toy Story, but I want to say it was about 7 years before they came out with that first short with the lamp that won them an Oscar. But again, winning the Oscar didn't give them any money. And so actually Steve Jobs was one of the main contributors, if not the only main contributor, to the financial backing of Pixar. And so you think about that from an animation perspective, creating an animated film, leveraging computer graphics didn't exist, and now exists in an amazing way. But do you have that option at your organization to see a wide open space and be able to start marketing towards that, be able to start playing in that realm? that's really the question that a lot of us got to ask ourselves, right? So if we want to be intrapreneurial and we want to have that freedom to be able to run the way that we see fit and leverage our talents, that really comes down to, you know, the organization that we find ourselves in. And so I don't know if any organization has all the answers, but when you start talking about doing something significant from the perspective of achievement and changing the perspective, changing things, then that means you have to have some radical things that you're doing and not just shoveling the same results towards it, the same activity. And that's where things start changing. I don't know what those answers look like in my industry, but I know that there's certain things that I'm starting to do that I've never done before, hoping that it leads to the results that I'm wanting in a timely fashion. So may you also have the courage, the freedom, the flexibility, and the straight courage to go off into the unknown and do it and see what comes out on the other side. Hope you're all doing great. Sherm's out.